So you're ready to start sewing and you're looking for a truly easy project. This is the one for you. No matter whether you're trying to sew traditionally with raw fabric or you're trying to upcycle, a pillowcase is an amazing project, and I'm gonna show you how to do it in an upcycling way, but you can just as easily follow this for raw fabric. Hi everyone, I'm Angelina, and this is Blueprint DIY, where we remake our clothes to be just as unique as us. I am doing a series for the impatient beginner. Yes, guys, look. I am so excited. So I am putting together a book. This is the very first copy. Perfect for anybody who just wants to cut out the fluff and they want to just get to sewing. So let's do that. And we'll get more into what's in the book at the end. As you can see, we already have our fabric or dress shirt in my case, because I like to upcycle. It could be whatever type of fabric you want. This is the cotton. You can also use satin if you're looking for a satin pillowcase. That would be really cool to make for yourself. You're also going to need some scissors, some pins, a tape measure, something to mark with. I like to use a sliver of soap. In this video, I am going to use an ink pen because I want you guys to be able to see the marks. Also, a ruler so we can draw a straight line. All right, so the pillowcase is on page 53, 20 by 26 is a standard size. I'm going to use what I have here because I am using a dress shirt. So you can kind of use your judgment as far as that's concerned. I'm going to button the shirt all the way up and just see what length we have. We can do a total of 26 inches. Now that doesn't really leave us enough for a good hem, and you want to lay the shirt as flat as possible, but we will take what we can get. So I'm going to make a straight line all the way at the bottom, and we're also going to make a straight line right underneath the collar. On the back of dress shirts, there is pleats on the back of that. That's going to cause this to be kind of uneven, but I'm going to go ahead and make my measurements. We definitely want the pocket, and to try to get it as square as possible, I'm going to measure, we need seam allowance, so 21 inches down from there. This gives us 18, so that's what we're going to take, is 18. And I measure it on both sides. I measure it from this side and from this side just to make sure it's square. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. Once again, like we talked about before, when you are cutting, you want to make sure you're taking nice long strokes, not cutting with just the tips, the whole blade. All right, we're going to move our scraps, and I'm going to show you what I meant on the back. So here on the back, you can see there were two pleats that now make it bigger. So I'm going to flatten those out and then cut it correctly, or lay it good side to good side. And the good side of the fabric is the side that you want to see when the garment is finished. And now you can pin your edges or clip your edges to keep them lined up. In our pinning video, we talked about how I prefer to pin so that you get more distance in between where you sew. We're gonna make sure these are nice and lined up. We didn't make all that effort with cutting straight to get it all messed up with lining it up wrong. And it doesn't really matter how many pins you place in. It's just a matter of how many pins do you think it'll take for it to just stay lined up, but not too many where you're having to take out pins like every 2 seconds. And we're going to leave this one of the short ends open. All right, we make sure everything is lined up nice and flat, and we're going to sew 3 sides. When you first start sewing, you want to make sure you line up whatever seam allowance you're using, and I'm going to line mine up with 1/2. When you first start your stitches, especially if you're doing this with a stretchy material, you may not want to start the fabric right lined up with this little hole, just simply because sometimes it can get stuck down in there, like I said, especially for stretchy material. So what I'll do is go a little bit past there, and then I'll start to sew, and then I'll back stitch. So we're going to start going forward, sew about 1/2 inch, and then press and hold our back stitch butt. And then I'm just going to keep going and lining up. Yep, check the stitches. Pull the pins. All right, when I get to the end, I'm going to go about 1/2 inch toward the end. I'm going to roll my hand wheel towards me, put my needle down, and then I'm going to lift my presser foot up, and then I'm going to turn the pillowcase and then put my pressure foot back down, and then I can continue to sew. When I get to the, and I should have said this, we should have pinned our button placket closed so that it wouldn't get off. And I know I sewed over that pin. I did it on purpose because last week I told you about sewing over pins. It's not what you're supposed to do. You can, however, do it if you put the pins in, you know, lined up with the stitch. You can try it. Not recommending it, just telling you that some people do it. Stop, needle down. My sewing machine has a needle down button, so needle up, needle down. If you don't have that button, you're gonna roll your hand wheel, put our press foot up, turn, and press foot back down. Now, if you lost your seam allowance, what you can do is needle up, press foot up, and then just push it a little bit over so that we're lined up with our seam allowance. Needle back down, and we're gonna move forward. And I'm just watching that line right there. And then once again, when we get to the end, we're gonna do another back stitch. So we're gonna go all the way to the end. Then we'll press and hold the back stitch button, go backwards, and then go forward and end the stitch. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a thing. Here we do all the way from beginner projects all the way up to the most amazing, epic upcycles ever. And this book is just a product of what we do, like for those entry level wanting to sew. There's so many of you guys have told me over the years that you really wanted to sew, and I came into this channel knowing how to sew. I've been sewing since I was 8 years old. My mom taught me, and so I really wanted to pass on that as a person who used to get in trouble in sewing class a lot for wanting to take shortcuts. I'm speaking to those of you who are like me. So yeah, if you are like that or just want to see some amazing sewing going on, definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, back to the video. After we sew the 3 sides, then we're going to come back and take our pinking shears and cut the edges so that they don't fray. I'll also show you another option on your sewing machine. Fray will only go up to the bottom part of the razor edge. I'm going to change my stitch to a zigzag stitch on this sewing machine. We're going to place this little edge with the edge of our fabric, and we're just going to zigzag on the edge as close to the edge without going over. And that way it can only fray up to where the zigzag stitch is. The same idea as the pinking shears. Next thing you want to do is take it over to your iron, and you're going to fold it down a 1/2 inch and iron it flat. And then you're going to fold it down again 1 inch and iron that flat. If you use the dimensions in our book, the fold down will be different depending on what type of pattern you use. But since mine is like barely making the dimensions, that's what I'm gonna do. Now we're gonna remove our free arm so that we have room to go ahead and do our hem. I like to start on a seam so that if I want to lock that stitch in, you can't really, it's in a place that you won't really mind so much. We're gonna go back to a straight stitch, line it up so that it sews right close to that bottom edge. And the free arm allows you to put the fabric underneath the sewing machine so that when you're sewing, it just keeps going around. I want to make sure I line up my button placket really well. All right, now we can cut our excess threads. We're going to turn it right side out, and we're going to press it flat.
I don't want the love. I don't want no more. I don't want the love. Gotta get up now. Gotta get up now.
All right, that turned out so good. If you do want a different size, you just make yours a different size. Like I said, it says the standard size pillowcase is like 20 by 26. So you're gonna add seam allowance onto that to make that. But I love how mine turned out with the little pocket to stick my phone in. I lose my phone a lot, so that will definitely be helpful. Let me know some other beginner things that you want to see, and definitely keep an eye out for my book. This will be coming out this week. If you're watching this when it first comes out, it will be available for all those who are about to take my 6-week course, and anybody who takes any of my up and coming classes. We do have a ton of classes here in Houston, Texas coming up. If you do want to meet me, check out those classes. I know some of you guys have planned trips into town. If we are having classes, definitely check those out. We have sipping soles coming up, open soles coming up. In January, we have a whole denim class, how to make your own jeans class coming up. So definitely check out blueprintdiy.com for that. All right, so let's talk about what's in the book. Of course, the cover I love because she is definitely holding those scissors like, yes, I'm ready to sew and I'm not about that BS, okay? I just want to get into it. So right in the beginning, you'll see, let's get started. Let's get into it. And I did pattern the book so that the things that are really important are highlighted. So if you're not a reader, don't worry. Go through it, read all of the highlighted, the bold words, and you can get a gist of a lot of things. And then when you see a bold word that, that speaks to you, you can read more. And then there are QR codes. There will be direct links to the tutorials as well. So sometimes I know when beginners are watching my videos, it's like, okay, how do I navigate it if I want to learn how to sew? And this is a great way to navigate it. Whether you get the ebook or the printed version, it's a great way to navigate it. It will be coming out this week, ebook form as well as printed form. So I'm super excited about that. It will be sold on my website here, TikTok shop, every place we can think of, we're going to add it. So yeah, and I have a ton of other videos for you to watch right here, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.